Welcome in the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range dealerships and presented by Bet365. We've got Rudo and AJ coming to you live as it's officially season preview time around here. Well inside of a week until the regular season starts, although the Avs do still have a preseason game left. But we are almost there. So today we are talking about the Eastern Conference and giving our predictions for what things are going to look like out east. Now, you may be thinking we are an Avalanche podcast, and you would be correct. So our Eastern Conference predictions will almost certainly be wrong. But if they're right, then we win a prize. What is that prize? I don't know. But we win one. You heard it here.
Yeah. I every year I'm like, we should go back and see how wrong we were about our preseason predictions. And then I'm like, I'm too lazy for this.
It just doesn't matter that much. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it would be great summer content to just go back and be like, what did we get wrong?
I feel like I just write down most stuff and then move on with my life.
Yeah. Like, pretty much all of it, honestly.
Predicting the season is hard, I'll tell you. There are, of course, two divisions, the Atlantic and the Metro in the East. We can start with the Atlantic, but before we do dive into that, did want to have a little bit of a conversation about the news. AJ, you and I were texting about this earlier today, but over the past couple of days, we've seen multiple defensemen sign $9 million deals, including Luke Hughes and now Jackson Lacombe. Is $9 million the new $6 million?
Sure. I mean, I think people asked that same question when Darnell Nurse and Seth Jones got that kind of money, and both contracts just went right in both of those teams' faces. I think that the Lacombe deal makes me feel a little bit better because he takes on really hard matchups for a bad Ducks team. And I think he's the real deal. I think he's awesome. Size, skating, puck skill, defense. He does a little bit of everything at a really high level. Luke Hughes is like a worse version of Quinn. Quinn plays a lot of really quality defense. Luke doesn't. Not at this point in his career. But you are starting to see the offensive breakout with Luke, I think, is starting to happen. Some of that is just going to be him living up to that deal. I think will be a lot of like, well, does he take over all those top jobs? Does he do all the big stuff for them? So I won't get too much into it just because we're going to talk about it here in a second anyway. But yeah.
True. A couple of other news notes or whatever you want to call them on the day. First off, the chat, Toyota chat talking about it. Lucas Reichel supposedly on the block for most of preseason for Chicago. We talked about the Avs potentially being interested in him earlier in the summer. Would they still be interested given what they have in Olofsson and Brindley now?
I think that's a lot harder of a sell. We talked about it as like, this is a buy low guy. He's a great skater. He may suck. And right now, Gavin Brindley's been really good this preseason, and Victor Olofsson, like, he's going to make the team, and we're going to see kind of what he's got, right? But I just, are you going to get Reichel and then not do anything?
Yeah.
Not play him? He's
also
just going to sit?
Tiff trusted chat spelling. Mistake.
Yeah. Never.
Yeah, archetypally, it made a lot more sense before the success we saw out of Brindley, I would say. Even then, is it not just the same guy that Olofsson is for you, but maybe you're talking about that conversation more as a 13th forward, but
Yeah.
I don't know that you need another one of those guys. And sure, if you're making the bet on upside with Reichel, I get that, but
Yeah.
he hasn't proven it yet.
Look, if it's like a 4th round pick, do you have to have like 3 of those things?
Yep.
This year in this year's draft, like it's their first pick. Fine. And like you wanna put him as your 13th forward. That way Brindley can go down and play every single day with the Eagles because he doesn't have to go through waivers. You can kind of shuttle around like, hey, that's pretty good depth. You feel pretty good about that. But if you're gonna get Reichel, you got to play him a little bit. You got to see what you have. You got to let him work through some of it, and that means then that you're going to be sitting Olofsson, which is like maybe you're burning that asset too because he's not going to be happy about that. Or you're sitting Kivi Ranta, and then one of Reichel or Olofsson is playing on your 4th line, which also isn't a great solution to this. So, like that. It's more of like I really like the player, and it seems cheap enough, and this could work. And if it does, it could be a relationship that lasts for several years. So I am intrigued. But in the immediate, like, does he fit anywhere? Does this actually like make sense? The answer is not really, not anymore.
Yeah, I would agree. Looking for fits, another day of waivers. I don't know that there are any fits that really make sense for the Avs, but names that have come up in the past, like a Danton Heinen, is on there. If you're really, really desperate for a left-handed D, you could get the defenseman named Sebastian Aho. It's another day where it feels like the Avs are just going to pass.
Yeah. I've liked Scott Perunovich for a long time, but you're talking like the last thing that the Avs need is an undersized puck-moving defenseman.
Yep.
So, I'm good.
Cool. That's the news. We can get into the actual meat and potatoes of the show with the Atlantic Division, which, of course, includes the Stanley Cup defending Florida Panthers. We'll get to them in a minute. Also includes Boston, Buffalo, Detroit, Montreal, Ottawa, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. This Atlantic Division in the last couple of years has produced a lot of pretty good teams. Given the Barkov situation with Florida.
Produced a Stanley Cup finalist like 6 years in a row.
Yeah, true. Between Tampa and Florida. I don't know that this division is going to be as good this year. Some of that rides on can Ottawa and Montreal take their next steps as organizations. But Boston seems to have fallen off a cliff. Buffalo is Buffalo. Detroit is seemingly still in no man's land. I guess, are we believers in Tampa Bay having found their footing again?
I'm certainly a believer that Tampa Bay has got this. They for a regular season team, their top 6 is fantastic. The top of their defense is really good. Their goaltender is elite, like Vasilevsky. It's so crazy. Andrei Vasilevsky had such an underrated year last year. Like he could have easily won a Vezina in a normal year where Hellebuck wasn't Superman. Really, he was fantastic last season, and I just think that's a really good hockey team. All 3 levels. They're hard to play against. They've got really good two-way players. They score a lot of goals. They've got elite talent at the top of their roster. They have good depth guys. They're role players. They've got some younger guys that can take steps forward. What's not to like about Tampa Bay at this point?
I have no argument. I also had Tampa Bay at the top of my list. If we could pull up our Atlantic predictions here, we can take a look at all of them. But I do think this has become Tampa's division to lose, with Florida dealing with what they're dealing with this year. So
Yeah, I mean, we should just right there. We both have Florida in third place because the Barkov injury just changes the math.
yep, it's
That was just that.
it's that simple.
That was
And like
reality.
tons of credit to the Florida Panthers that we both still have them in third place when losing their 1C for the year.
Yeah.
Like that's a good
Yeah,
hockey
it's a deep
team still.
roster.
Yeah.
It's a good hockey team. It's got a great goaltender. Their defense is solid. I love their top 9 forwards. Love it a little less without Barkov, but it's good. It's a good team.
Yep. I don't know that they'll have it in the bag to go for the three-peat, to be honest, given not only is Barkov out for the year, but they're not going to have Matthew Tkachuk for the first half of the season. It's a situation the Avs are very familiar with and dealing with some critical injuries post a Stanley Cup. So
yeah,
it's really hard, man. It is really, really hard to win from a position like that. So I'm not saying they can't do it, but it would be something super duper impressive there. We really start to split at the second position, though. I have Toronto. You have Ottawa. We'll get to Toronto in a second. Sell me on Ottawa first. Do you really think Ottawa's ready to take that next step?
Yeah, so with Ottawa, I think it's I'm betting that Linus Ullmark is awesome. I just think he's really good. And I love the top of their defense with Sanderson and Shabbat, Nick Jensen, Artem Zub. My Zub is awesome. Yeah, I love him. I just think he's so great. And even the bottom of their defense, they went out and they got Jordan Spence, who I thought was a guy that, hey, young right-hander that just needs a little bit of opportunity that can do some things with the puck. Like it's intriguing. I like their depth better than most years. And the top of their forward core is great. Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk are really, really good. Claude Giroux started to fall off, but the Dylan Cousins for Josh Norris swap I think is going to go okay for them, if only because Cousins is going to play more often, doesn't have the same injury problems and long-term concerns as Norris. And I like that defense. I mean, that defense. I like their depth. You get into the Shane Pintos and the Ridley Greggs. Like, I just think this is it's a talented roster, top to bottom, and I don't look at any level of them and say, well, they're a total bum here.
Okay. I don't disagree. I mean, I think their roster is solid. I do wonder if they have enough top end, truly. Obviously, Tim Stützle is amazing, but do they have enough firepower at the top beyond him to really push for the top of their division?
Yeah, and I think having them as high as I do is I am buying that Toronto is going to take a big step back and that the rest of this division is just going to be it's like a lot of good, not great.
A lot of teams in the Calgary zone for sure.
I think Tampa Bay is fantastic, easy winner, right? And Florida would be, but the Barkov injury and the Tkachuk injury, that's so much that you're losing. But I think they're good enough otherwise to be right in this range. Ottawa, I think it's just don't screw this up, and I love their path to hosting a playoff series. I really just think that they're talented. They've got some competitiveness in that lineup. Maybe a little too much with Nick Cousins continually being kind of a
crosses the line.
Nick Cousins, yeah. And I some of their depth guys, like Lars Eller getting to be Lars Eller, love that. I'm such a big Michael Amadio fan. When he was a free agent, we talked about him a lot because I wouldn't let it go. So it's really just if David Perron and Claude Giroux can hang in their late 30s, I think that this is a team that I really like the upward trajectory, but everybody's got to have a good year to finish like that. You cannot have underperformance. They're not good. They don't have the breakthrough high-end elite guy at the top. The Nathan McKinnon of the world.
Yep.
To carry them if some of their depth falters.
Yeah.
Stützle's great though.
He's awesome, but he's not quite that caliber for me. I do want to talk about Toronto too, but we need to take our first break of the show before we do that. So let's make sure we're paying our bills here. As you know, that moment, the one when you realize you left your favorite pair of sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away. Well, we've all been there. But then I found Shady Rays, and it changes the game. These sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose, break, or just don't like your sunglasses, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear, whether it's on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, or wherever you're headed. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. Give them a try for the first 30 days. Like I said, they'll replace them for you entirely for free. And we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to ShadyRays.com and use code DNVR for 35% off any pair of polarized sunglasses you can try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Once you got your Shady Rays on, also have a little bit of fun. Try and make a little bit of money when it comes to Bet365. They're an official partner of the Colorado Avalanche. They offer tons of amazing deals, whether it be early payout offers or same-game parlay bonuses. But the biggest offer you can jump on with is getting $200 in bonus bets when you use code at DNVR365 at sign-up and bet $5. Win or lose. You don't even have to win the bet, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets. All you have to do is use that DNVR365 code, deposit $10 into your account, and bet $5 on anything to get those $200 in bonus bets. You can jump in with them. The bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. So make sure you're getting in with them and having a little bit of fun playing with that free money of the $200 in bonus bets. If you win it, awesome. Take it out, and you just have more money now. It's that simple. Of course, when you do gamble with Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. The Toronto Maple Leafs. I have them in second still. You have them down in fifth. Obviously, they did lose Mitch Marner this offseason. Look, if we're talking about the playoffs, I kind of agree with your assessment. I do not think they are a team that I have faith in at all in the playoffs. But I still believe they're a team built to win in the regular season. I think they have enough firepower, even without Mitch Marner, that they can outscore a lot of their problems. Yes, their defense is pretty suspect still. Yes, their goaltending is fine, but not anything special. But you have an Austin Matthews. You have a Willie Nylander. You still have a John Tavares who, while aging, is still an effective hockey player. I think they're still a good regular season team.
Yeah, I mean, the tip-top guys are great. Matthews, Nylander are awesome. If JT can have the season that he did last year, they really need that. I'm just not buying that Matthew Knies is going to be a 30-goal guy again with no Mitch Marner to feed him the way that it worked out last season. And they're like, you're replacing Mitch Marner with Matthias Michelli and Max Domi. I don't buy it, man.
I thought you were the Michelli believer.
I do like Matthias Michelli, but not to replace Mitch Marner. And their defense has basically, outside of Morgan Riley, none of them can move a puck at this point in their careers. They're all good defenders to some level. Like, they're fine on defending, which is good because Stolarz and Woll, I like both goaltenders way more than you do, especially Stolarz. But making their job a lot easier is good for the goalies. That's great. I just think offensively they're not very good, and if they have, we're talking they've got 4 forwards in their starting lineup that belong in a top 6. All the others are bums. Like should be in a bottom 6. They should not be in a top 6. Like Bobby McMahon, Max Domi, Matthias Michelli shouldn't be in a top 6. And you're talking about putting multiple of them in there. If you have one, you have 1 injury, 2 injuries, you've got nothing. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. And Joseph Woll's always hurt. Like,
That's
James
true.
Reimer is in there on a PTO right now. Stolarz, I really do like Anthony Stolarz. I've always been a big fan of his, but uh, I just at some point Chris Tanev's not going to continue to be the elite defensive defenseman. Brandon Carlo's been on a downward trajectory. I'm just, I guess I just see way too many red flags for me to buy that this is a high end hockey team here. I think the weak division could really help them. It could really bail them out. I had a hard time but my positions 2 through 5 here, I felt were all interchangeable. You could tell me that the end of the season they finished in any of them, and I would go, okay, I buy that. Like I felt like Tampa Bay is clearly the top team, and then these next 4 teams are in a tier of their own, and then the last 3 teams I think are in it.
I would agree. There's a clear cut bottom 3. I think I believe in Michelli in the top 6. He's not Mitch Marner. He's not about to have a 100-point season. That's not what I'm saying, but
no.
I think he'll do just fine in a top 6 role. That can be a 50 to 60-point guy for you. I don't really have an issue with that. I think there was a little bit of softness there, obviously, but that's not what you're asking him to do.
Yeah, if they're going to play him next to Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes, they gave those guys really hard matchups last year. There's no sheltering them. They threw those guys into the absolute deep end. And Michelli's not going to handle that well.
Sure, they may have to rethink their deployment a little bit. But again, this is not a team I believe in to make a legitimate cup run. This is a team that I believe can kind of outscore their problems when Austin Matthews has his turnaround 60-goal season like he likes to do.
I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna have that kind of season. I'm 100% betting on it because I'm planning on drafting him in my fantasy league this week. Like, I think Austin Matthews is fantastic and he's gonna be awesome, but I just don't know that that'll be enough. I don't buy it because I don't think they have depth. I just don't think it's good depth. You look around at that roster and I'm just like, what are the guys that I like here?
Yeah.
Like Nick Robertson is a guy that I'm like, I kind of like this guy, but that's their best player in their bottom 6.
I just don't. I think teams can get away with a little bit of that in the regular season, especially as you mentioned with what we think is a weaker division. I just don't know that it'll matter that much for Toronto, especially given the step back that Florida we're assuming is coming with the guys they're missing. Injuries, of course, could destroy them, as is true with any team. But
that's 32 of 32 have that conversation.
Right. So that is what it is. But I think Toronto is in a fine position given the division. Let me ask you this, AJ. Are we expecting an even split 4-4 for the divisions as far as the wild cards making the playoffs this year, or do you see one of them getting both wild card spots?
I like this division, I think, for that better than I like the Metro.
Okay. So a world where Toronto makes the playoffs even in the 5th seed that you have them.
Yeah, I like them. I just, as to your point here of, you can get away with this in the regular season where a couple of, 2 great lines
can carry you, yeah.
And being good in your own zone and having quality shot and goal suppression can get you through a regular season. You need everything to win in the playoffs, though. But this isn't a playoff preview. This is a regular season preview. This is how down on Toronto I am right now. I look at that roster and I just go, ugh.
Yeah.
So, personal bias on this one, man. I'm not buying it.
I struggle to put them behind Montreal, but the rest of them, I could be sold on that conversation.
Now Montreal is my bay.
Yeah.
This is my love is going to curse the Canadiens this year because I love them. I love this roster. The only thing I really don't love, I don't love their goaltending, and Martin St. Louis is my favorite head coach.
They certainly play a system.
Yeah, they definitely are on the ice and playing. They definitely do have. I'm not. Maybe they need to pull our tweets for the Bednar board to figure some of this out.
Look, if they can decipher that thing, they've earned it.
Exactly. If you can speak that language, man, you're good. But it's the Rosetta Stone for good coaching.
You're right. I mean, I'm not a big believer in Dobesh, nor Montembeau, to be honest with you. So,
Capo Kakinen, like, come on.
yeah, the question marks there. Obviously, on the ice, they have some high end talent. Everybody loves Cole Caulfield. Suzuki is awesome for them, but not. They
He's
don't.
so awesome, dude.
Even with that, same kind of story as Ottawa, right? They don't have that true super high end talent.
I don't. I mean, I want to see what Demidov can do because
Fair.
I think it might be. I really think it's a year early on Montreal, like the Montreal hype
Yeah,
train, because
I would
Jacob
agree with
Fowler
that.
and net, I think, is going to be their guy. A full year of Demidov, I think, is gonna really push the ball forward. And then I'm curious if Reinbacher ever comes out of the minors and
Yeah.
can actually help the NHL club. But the addition of Noah Dobson, I mean, your top four is some combination of Matheson, Hudson, Dobson, Gooley. Like I love Caden Goulet. I have always
Same,
been
to be
so
honest.
pro him, and he's fantastic there. Even their defensive depth is good. Like you go down in their lineup and you keep like Jaden Struble. I I talked to multiple people with the Avs this year where I was like, when are you guys gonna get Jaden Struble? And they were like, AJ, leave me alone. Because like that's exactly the kind of guy that they need.
Yeah.
On their left side on their third pairing, and Montreal has a couple of them. So they are. I mean, they're really really good. Their big thing, they don't have a second line center because right now
What a
it's Kirby
strange
Doc.
problem I've never heard of before.
Yeah, exactly. Their number one center, Nick Suzuki, I think he's one of the more underrated players in the NHL. He's a two-way animal. Broke out offensively last year, does everything for them, heart and soul for them. I mean, he is the total face of the future. Caulfield's a great goal scorer, and Slafkovsky is still developing, but is a good all-around player. Like that line together is awesome. Them not having the bona fide 2C is a really big issue though, because I like their bottom six. I like their top six except for the 2C, and that's, as we know, a really important hole.
I just feel like it's a little bit of too much all around. Like you said, I think their whole team can be described as a good all around team, but I don't know that they have anything that really shines enough in any one category. Besides, Demidov is a good shout. If he blows up in the way people believe he can, he could be a big deciding factor for them.
Well, I think another year of Caulfield, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, you're going to see that line become one of the top 5 to 10 lines in the entire NHL. I think they're ready to go. They mean business, man. That line, I think that line can do everything.
Is Slafkovsky ready to be that third banana guy, though?
I think so. I think
Okay.
he's gotten a chance to prove it a little bit. He can do some things. He's a really good skater. He's got great size, brings a little bit of thunder, which they need because Cole
Yeah,
Caulfield's
exactly.
never won a puck battle in his life. But that guy's such an unbelievable goal scorer, and Nick Suzuki is such a great two-way center. Like Nick Suzuki would be my, if you're trying to figure out who's going to win the Selke with no Barkov around, it'll either be Anze Kopitar with the send-off career achievement award, or it's going to be Nick Suzuki because he actually earned that damn thing.
I'm interested in a different name there, but he plays wing, so he doesn't count. It's not a real bid for the.
Yeah, you know that. Wings aren't allowed to win the Selke.
Which is dumb, but that's okay. And then you have the bottom three, which they're the bottom three for a reason. Put them in whatever order you want. I don't really care. Buffalo is Buffalo. I don't think I need to say anything else there. For the fourth offseason in a row, Detroit did stuff. None of it really makes any sense. None of them really makes them that much better, but they did stuff. Yeah. And then Boston's fall from grace mostly happened last season, and they just haven't done enough to dig themselves out of it.
I think Buffalo's the one with the upside here. I think that you're right about Detroit and Boston. They just sort of exist right now.
Yep.
Boston's trying to like reboot this thing, like get it going with a bit of a youth movement and figure out how they can move out some of this money and then build around Pasternak and McAvoy. So at least they're trying to change something up and do something new. A bounce back from Swayman would help a lot. Detroit sucks. I don't think John Gibson's going to be enough. You look at that roster and you're just like, everybody on this roster is overpaid. And it's not that they have bad players. It's just that they've spent money. They've spent more money than what they're getting in value on like the whole roster.
Most of the guys.
Yeah. Like, I just don't. Detroit's whatever. I'm out on Detroit.
Sure.
Detroit sucks. Buffalo, Buffalo is like the same story as every year. You look at the roster and you go, wow, it's a lot of talent. Are they going to be able to put it together? And if this is the year that they do it, great. I'm with it. I won't be shocked if they finally break through because that's a really talented roster. But if they don't, this isn't the year that it happens and they continue to miss the playoffs, I also will not be shocked.
I mean, this is the 7th year we've been doing this together, AJ. And from year 1, I have said, I'll believe it when Buffalo shows me I should believe it. That's where the Buffalo Sabres are at as an organization at this point. I can't believe in them until they actually do it. So
much good young talent, though.
Yeah, well, people say that every offseason, and then Buffalo. So what do you want me to do? We do need to take our second break of the show, so let's hit up that before I go on another Buffalo rant here, as we are brought to you by the folks over at Coors Light. You can jump in with Coors Light today to get your ice cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged Coors Light for better flavor all the way through. The mountains turn blue on the bottle or the can to let you know it's ice cold and ready to drink. You can even get it at any liquor store in the country. You don't have to be in Colorado. You probably can get it in most countries at this point, to be honest. I don't know. I never leave the States. What you can do, though, is get it delivered right to your front door at CoorsLight.com/DNVR. You don't even have to get up off your couch thanks to Instacart. You can get your Coors Light while watching the game. Maybe you forgot to go get beer before the game started. No problem. Coors Light has your back on that one. Anytime you choose chill, Coors Light is a great option for you to have, whether you're out grilling in the backyard while the weather is still nice, or if you're just relaxing on the couch. Coors Light has you covered. Make the most out of the times you choose chill and choose Coors Light. Get it delivered right to your front door thanks to CoorsLight.com/DNVR and Instacart. Of course, celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Please try some Coors Light. Then, when you don't order Coors, well, you can go order Coors Light at the arena. What am I talking about? When you go to the arena, make sure you get your tickets through a Game Time, whether that's the Avs game, Broncos games on the weekend, Nuggets games coming up, or whatever other sporting event you might be trying to get to. Game Time has the best ticket prices out there, guaranteed. It's not even just sports. You can go to the concert or the theater with Game Time, and you can even get $20 off your first purchase when you download the Game Time app and use code DNVR to sign up. Of course, terms apply there, but Game Time has a ton of different ways to get great deals on tickets, whether that's their last-minute ticket deals, their section selector, or you can search for whatever you want and use the Game Time Picks feature to find the best tickets for the best price based on what you're looking for. So join the 15 million people that use Game Time to get their tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app today. Use that DNVR code for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code DNVR when you sign up with a new account with the Game Time app. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Finishing up the Atlantic here. AJ, do you see a cup finalist coming from this division? Do you think Tampa is that team?
I think they're the team that I would say has the best shot at it. Just with no Barkov, it's really hard to imagine that Florida's able to overcome that. They're really well built. They're not that well built.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's switch over to the Metro division then, as we can go through the other side of the Eastern Conference, which I don't know that I'd call it the more interesting division necessarily, but I think there's maybe a bit more to play for. I don't know that the portions of the division are as clear cut. Of course, the division includes You have Carolina, you have Columbus, you have, I don't know how to do this in alphabetical order. What comes next? New Jersey, and then the 2 New York teams. Nah, Philadelphia comes before them. And then you also have Pittsburgh and Washington.
All right, so Rudo doesn't know his alphabet.
No, definitely not. What, you think I know how to read? I've just been faking it this whole time, just like a real hockey player.
I mean, it doesn't help that there's like 3 N's in there.
Yeah.
Like New Jersey and then 2 New Yorks where you're just like, whoa, what is this? And a couple of P's. Like, anyway, don't do math live on air, and also,
avoid the alphabet
trying to
when you can.
alphabetize a randomized list can be a little tough.
Carolina. When you're making conference finals with regularity, you get the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yeah. Well, and like you're the only one of these teams going in here that doesn't have any real drama and added significantly in the offseason.
Yep. I think that's fair.
They add Nick Ehlers. They add Keandre Miller. Miller, I think, is a more controversial add in terms of,
value.
May not.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it may not go well. And with Ehlers, it's hard to imagine Ehlers not fitting in well. He's tailor-made for how they play the game. Just a great fit for what they want. And one of the league's most efficient scorers during his time in Winnipeg, where they had him as like a second line guy for some insane reason.
Everybody makes choices in life.
Yeah.
I mean,
Winnipeg's
Carolina's been
finding a way to lose early every year.
Despite those additions, Carolina's the same team it's been for years. They play that super high volume, super low quality hockey. They, as awesome as Ehlers is, they lack a true dude. They lack the ultimate guy that, who are you going to call on when you absolutely need one? Their goaltending is going to remain in flux for all time because they refuse to hire a goaltender that can stay healthy.
I like the way you worded it. They refuse to hire a goaltender. Like they're going on and they're like, they found these goaltenders on Craigslist.
Declining applications. Right, yeah.
This is it. We can take that LinkedIn advertisement down. We don't need to do this anymore. We've got the guy. Kochetkov and Anderson. We're solid. These guys get hurt every year, but they're never hurt at the same time, right? They just trade off injuries. It's fine.
I mean, it works for them in the regular season. I'll put it to you that way. I don't expect too much to change as far as on that front for Carolina.
Yeah.
You a slightly bigger believer than me in New Jersey, but it does feel like it's time for New Jersey to turn that corner, right? It's time for them to take that next step and to being the bona fide team that their talent represents what they should be.
Yeah, I think with New Jersey, you saw last year they fell apart at the end because everybody was hurt.
Yep, true. The Jack Hughes injury was the nail in the coffin for them.
Yeah, like they suffered so many injuries at the end of the year that they got into the playoffs and they had some guys that were playing huge minutes for them that aren't like shouldn't be in an everyday lineup. And that's a pretty tough position to be in. I think a big thing with them is that their top 6 is phenomenal.
Yeah. True.
Just about unimpeachable. You look at that top 6 and you go, golly, Hughes and Heischer down the middle. Yes. That's what's up. That is fantastic. And then you immediately go to Cody Glass and Luke Glendening.
Not as good for sure.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
They have
really not as good.
Their decor is pretty darn fun though. A lot of good pieces on there. Like I know, you can believe on the caliber of Luke Hughes all you want, but they have a number of other good pieces between Siegenthaler and otherwise that are these guys top end defensemen? No, but there's also not really a hole there.
Yeah, Siegenthaler's really good. Dougie Hamilton, again, health. If Dougie Hamilton could stay healthy, he'd be one of the best defensemen of this generation, but he's always hurt.
Yep.
Luke Hughes on the up and up. Brett Pesce is a really good defender, but I think injuries have started to sap some of that effectiveness and starting to get a little. He's like 30 going on 38. not unlike what we saw with Ryan Lindgren last year, where like this is a guy that's just really beat up. I don't know how consistently effective he is anymore. And then you get into the bottom of it. Kovacevic, I know just got hurt, but one of the league's more underrated guys. Brendan Dillon and Nemitz.
Yep.
Simon Nemitz.
Never loved Nemec, but he's been good. I don't.
That's a solid defense, though.
Yeah.
Like that's a solid. I love them. And their high end is really good, so they should be able to score with an elite top six, with the deep and talented defense that can do a little bit of everything. And I like both of their goaltenders in Markstrom and Allen. So I don't like them long term, but we're not talking about long term. We're talking about just for this year. I'm a fan. I like them both, and I think that they are Carolina's stiffest competition for the winning the division this season.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I have Washington ahead of them, but that's more wishful thinking from me. Having the way Washington played last year, I think you're going to see a continuation of them playing a little bit free, with Ovechkin presumably playing his last season of his career. And you still have a bunch of quality players in that organization that I believe they can defy Father Time for one more year. I'll put it to you that way. A guy like a John Carlson can continue to be a quality player for them. Are they going to be as good as they were last year in the regular season? No. But I think they're still a quality organization. And then our lists start to diverge pretty heavily at this point, because I'm a believer that there's still a stench along the New York Rangers, that the problems that organization has have not been fixed, but you have them in third.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to do with them, but this is just me saying, look, I'm looking at the talent on this team and I'm buying in.
Yeah.
And that's mostly it. I'm buying in. They also are coming off a year where everything that could go wrong pretty much did.
True.
You don't typically see teams go through those multiple years in a row unless they don't make any major changes. I like Mike Sullivan as a head coach. I think there's a good chance that he's able to fix some of that culture, get these guys going in the right direction. I just think it's too talented of a team to miss out. And Washington was absolutely everything under the sun went so well for them last year. Those teams always have a really harsh reality that comes for them eventually. And I like the Caps. I think Spencer Carberry is one of the best head coaches in the NHL. I don't think that team is going to be able to survive that reality this season.
I do think that reality is coming for them. I'm just banking on that implosion coming the day Alex Ovechkin retires. That's
next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Next year.
And then I have Columbus high on the list. You have Columbus well outside the playoffs.
Yeah, they don't have any goaltending. Even if you buy into the skaters. I don't buy into the skaters. I don't buy into the defense. Dante Fabro was a result of Zach Werenski going Super Saiyan last season. Werenski's always been a really talented guy, but he's battled a lot of injuries for a long time, and I'm just not buying that he could do that again. And Ivan Provorov is the most overrated guy in the entire NHL next to Brock.
You hate Provorov. It's fine. I get it. I don't hate Provorov as much as you do. Werenski's awesome. Like you said, if he can stay healthy, I think that defense is fine. Fabro's overplayed on the top pairing for sure, but Severson is a fine guy to fit in your top four. I think Provorov is fine in your top four, even if you hate him. And I like the potential of their forward core. Obviously, they don't have a super duper high end. You're hoping Adam Fantilli truly ascends this year, but you have other options. I like Kent Johnson. I like Cole Sillinger. I don't think you look at their lineup, and I don't know that there's a bad line in their forward core. It's just they lack the high end like a number of teams do. Sean Monahan, if he really is your 1 or 2C, can he still do it at this point? Fair enough.
The Monahan thing is interesting because that line last year was aces.
Yep.
Like that trio that they had, Voronkov, Monahan, and Marchenko were phenomenal together.
Yep.
But is Sean Monahan really the connective tissue to a top line for a legit contender? No. They need Adam Fantilli to really take a big step forward and to really, really take over. And he had a 30-goal season last year, and a lot of that, I think, was statistical mirage. There are so many red flags in this team's profile, individually, team profile, all of it. And it all comes back to everything under the sun could go right, but if they don't get a save, it won't matter.
It is true, but goaltending is unknowable unless you're a goalie guy, which I am not. So,
yeah, I mean, goaltending could be the great equalizer. Elvis Merzlikins could actually be awesome, like he was a couple of years ago, and they're in the postseason.
Yep, and that's. I don't think Columbus is a true contender. I have them in a wild card spot. I'm not. This is not a team that's really pushing to go deep in the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, it's a successful year for them.
For sure. I just don't think they're going to do that.
And that's, fair enough. You're probably right, but I got to take my chances somewhere. Both of us have Philadelphia on the outside looking in. It's a team that's starting to feel a little bit stuck to me.
Yeah, they're in kind of a weird transition where they're moving on from the previous era, but like Sean Couturier is still like a top 6 center for them. Yeah. Travis Sanheim is still a top defenseman for them, which he should be. Travis Sanheim rules. But then who's in net? Like Urson and Dan Vladar are the guys that they're leaning on.
Certainly don't believe in Vladar, but Urson is fine. He's a low-end starter.
Like, I think that they did the right thing taking on the Trevor Zegras reclamation project.
Sure.
Even the Christian Dvorak sort of pseudo reclamation project is an intriguing one. But giving Noah Cates the money that they did, the money and the term that they did is like, okay, great. I'm glad you signed that contract for somebody else down the road. Because if they don't go anywhere in the next 2 years, he's going to become a really valuable trade asset for them. But how many more picks do they need? They've had so many first rounders in the last couple of seasons. I just don't really know like what their goal is. Are they trying to make the playoffs this year? Is this a transition year? Are they trying to develop guys? Because their roster is just such a huge hodgepodge of like Cam York, like a top prospect who hasn't really broken out. But they don't have a better option.
That's their whole lineup is top prospects who haven't made the jump. Owen Tippett, even some of the guys they've moved on from, like Morgan Frost, all of these guys were super highly touted and they've turned into decent NHLers, but they have failed to get true top end guys.
Are they gonna get a star out of Matvei Michkov?
Right. I do think Michkov is the truth, but
yeah, they really need it.
It's starting to simmer a little bit. They've been in the Calgary zone, the Minnesota zone, whatever you want to call it, for a little bit too long already. And you already have their organization saying, hey, it's okay. We're not necessarily trying to be a playoff team this year. How far can you kick that can down the road before it's just untenable?
Yeah, this is organizationally, I just don't understand what their goals are right now.
Yep.
So I really don't. I don't have a feel for that for that entire org.
Then we have the Islanders and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is what it is. Their team is at the end of their existence, playing out the string until Malkin and Crosby retires. And then they'll pretend that they're going bankrupt and NHL will gift them another first overall pick for Gavin McKenna. It's fine. But
all true.
I don't see a world, even with Crosby and Malkin on the roster, I just don't see a world where Pittsburgh is competitive this year.
Absolutely not. This is the ultimate start scouting them right now for your deadline finds. If you need a fourth line guy, look at, you're like, okay, hey, what's up with Noel Achari and Blake Lizotte? They just put Danton Heinen on waivers today. Does Anthony Mantha pop in big top 6 minutes for them where they get to just force feed him opportunity so that they can move him for, for draft picks?
Yep.
At the deadline. Will anybody ever take Erik Karlsson off their hands? Like, what?
No.
Again, this is this is an organization with a direction, and that direction is down.
Yeah.
But they've got Evgeny Malkin has expressed absolutely zero interest in going anywhere, but his play has also slipped enough that you're kind of like, it's fine.
Yeah.
With Crosby, you're like, this guy still rules. Everybody agrees that this sucks to see this happening. That he's still so good, but doesn't want to go anywhere because he's loyal to Pittsburgh, but everybody else wants him to go somewhere. And it's like, go to Montreal. They need a second-line center. That'd be amazing. I mean, then he'd be the top-line center. Suzuki'd be your 2C.
Yeah.
I look like a genius for buying Montreal stock. Or he goes to Colorado, where then what happens with Brock Nelson, right? Who cares? It's Sidney Crosby. And he gets to play with McKinnon. There are some fun storylines there, but he has shown no interest in actually going and doing any of it. And respect. Honestly, respect to him for just being like, I'm gonna try and figure it out here until I can't anymore. That's cool. Whatever Sidney Crosby wants, that guy's the best.
Sure. I'm all good with that. I'm not gonna fight this fight. And then the New York Islanders quietly have been AJ's team in the East for years. How much of your placement of the Islanders this year is Patrick Roy isn't a very good coach?
I think it's everything.
Yeah.
About the one thing that I actually do really like, I think they're going to give Schaefer a good look. And I think that obviously when you have Ilya Sorokin in net, you're kind of like, well, you could steal a lot of games just because he's awesome.
That sounds like a Patrick Roy team to me.
Yeah. Yeah, doesn't it? Sounds so much like 13-14. They've got a couple of good players, like Barzal, Horvat. But Bo Horvat's like 30.
Yep.
So what's the point? What are we building towards here? It's they've done a really good job of kind of adjusting on the fly.
Sure.
With all the picks in the last year, like their whole prospect pipeline makeover that they've done in the last 12 months has been fantastic. Very admirable, but
doesn't help
their
them a
NHL
ton right
club
now. Yeah.
Yeah, their NHL club is saddled with a bunch of older players that they're not going anywhere. I mean, Kyle Palmieri, 34 years old. What's that? That's trade bait. Jonathan Duran, that's trade bait. JG Pajot, he's going to be Colorado's third line center come the deadline because I'm not going to let this go. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. Like Anders Lee, 35 years old. Like, are you going to keep him? What's the point of this? Yep. So there's that. They are an organization again that's like, hey, they're capped out. They've got nothing really going for them. They're going to be pretty bad this year. I think they're okay with that, but they've got a lot of decent players that could make some noise if they move them at the deadline and really get a start on the next generation.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's a generous way to put it. I'm putting it as they're going to be bad this year. I'm not thinking about the future of their organization. I don't see any position other than goaltender where I really believe in them. Not that, again, yeah, Barzal's a fine hockey player. I don't want to knock him or anything, but what do they have that provides a unique advantage to them in their skating core? I don't see anything, to be honest with you. So they aren't completely collapsing like a Pittsburgh or a Boston. That's what they've got going for them, I guess. Beyond that, I guess there's more of a distinction between the haves and the have-nots in this division than I initially anticipated. The teams at the bottom feel pretty comfortably at the bottom, even if I am a Columbus truther. But
I mean, we definitely agree that the Flyers, Islanders, and Penguins are all working for deadline sellers status here.
Yep, that's for sure. Carolina seems to be the pretty easy favorite of this one. Is it really just Tampa versus Carolina conference finals so we can have a Florida team in the finals for the 7th straight year?
No. You know how the playoffs go, man. It's never chalk like that.
Of course. If only. I mean, actually not if only. I don't need that. Well, if the Avs win the President's Trophy, maybe I need that in my life. But
chalk. Yeah, exactly. I love chalk. I've eaten lots of it in my life.
Really?
No, dude, that's disgusting.
Chalk is pretty inedible, I would say.
I know, man. You ever had Smarties? It's basically like that.
Did your middle school / high school / elementary school did kids like crush up Smarties and smoke them out of the pack?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
American Smarties. Canadians, don't be confused. We're not talking about Canadian Smarties. We're talking about American Smarties. Different candy.
Clear distinction there. Yeah. All right. Just checking on that one.
Yeah.
We are doing
we were all psychos.
We are doing our Western Conference preview tomorrow. I don't want to spoil that, but AJ, shot in the dark right now today. Which conference wins the cup this year?
The West.
Okay. I think I would agree. I think the West is better this year, top to bottom. Not that the West doesn't have bad teams at the bottom too, but the last couple of years, it's felt like the East is just a crazy war zone at the top with teams jockeying for position and having these arms races at the trade deadline. Doesn't seem quite as competitive in the East this year to me.
Yeah, this year it feels like a couple of top teams like a Tampa Bay, Carolina, and then everybody else.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge middle class in the East, and out West it feels like there are 4 really, really good teams at the top.
Yep.
That is going to be the story of the West. And then there's a big middle class, and then there's 3 teams at the bottom, 4 teams at the bottom that you're like, these guys suck.
Yeah.
And you kind of just dismiss immediately.
Fair enough. I would agree. I don't want to spoil too much more of the West, but Eastern Conference pretty much done and dusted for us. This is the first of our season preview stuff. Like I said, tomorrow our Western Conference predictions will be coming for the show, and then we'll also have a video covering the Avs, previewing their season as an individual team. So I don't know if that's coming out tomorrow or Friday, but keep your eyes peeled for that here on YouTube. It's a great time to become a diehard if you haven't already. We got a great deal going on. $59 gets you a year of diehard and a sick DNVR hat if you want to jump in on that deal. It also gets you access to all of AJ's amazing pieces, which, to play a little bit of spoiler, he has a gigantic preview coming out for the season that you're going to want to read this weekend. So make sure you're getting in on that thing. It's sick. But you also get a bunch of perks for being a diehard, whether it be discounts at the bar, a free t-shirt with your membership, and a bunch of other cool stuff. So do that. Or, if you want to show us a little bit of love, maybe for a little bit less, you can become a member of the Supporters Club here on YouTube. Get yourself a YouTube membership. It gives you access to some of the behind-the-scenes videos we've been making here on YouTube. It helps support us, and it gets you some emojis that you can spam in chat. So when the Avs win, you can spam that Dr. Dubs emoji. When enough of you sign up, we'll get a bunch of other emojis, like maybe a Landeskog Man Rocket, maybe a Good Stick Lecky, maybe a Nate Dog, all that stuff. I want to see all of that stuff in the chat on Watch Along. So consider becoming a member here on YouTube today and supporting us that way, too. I guess that is about it for today's show. One final question here, AJ. Who wins the Jack Adams this year?
Ooh. That is a hard question.
Just say Jared Bednar and we can end the show.
Oh, my bad. Jared Bednar.
Perfect. I'm sure at some point
answer.
We'll have that discussion,
Easy.
as well as some of the other awards. We mentioned a few of them on the show today. But we are going to wrap up for today's show. We do appreciate everyone hanging out with us today, and hope you all have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, you're going to want to tune in. Western Conference predictions. So those are the ones you can really make fun of us for when we get all of those ones wrong. we'll own those ones. But this has been the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by Bet365, and we will see you on the next one.
We all silly like the mayor.